All right, we got another one for us tonight. I'm Sergio Paez, and I'm with my good buddy Wahab Al-Garmi. How are you, my friend?
I'm good, man. Thanks.
Yeah, now we did one of these last year, which I thought was really fun, and we brought you back. So Wahab is one of our community mentors who has been helping behind the scenes go through the Animatic Storyboard Challenge. And for those of you who don't know, I'll describe a little bit of what we've been doing. But I also want to give a big shout out to Chad Pickrell. If you guys saw our talk that we did at 3 this afternoon, Chad was also on there as one of the panelists and story artists that we were talking about. And we also introduced the mentor. So that was amazing. Go check that out. You can see all of that at pro.storyboardart.org/LBX2021. That's our event page where you can see us now in streaming. And all you guys who have been doing this Animatic challenge is just unbelievable. It's amazing, amazing stuff. We're already getting people populating. See a bunch of familiar faces in here. Yes, this is awesome. We're going to get to questions. We're going to go through all the work. We're going to talk about things to look out for. But first, let me kind of describe what, for people who don't know, because there's still an opportunity for you guys to sign up. This is a challenge event that we have been doing this whole week for Lightbox Expo. And we did something similar last year. And this year has been just as amazing. I think it's a different format. We're doing now an Animatic, creating a story sequence from a script, and you can still sign up at bit.ly/Animatic challenge, and you can see all the information there. We're going to go even after Lightbox. It goes for 1 week. It will end next Friday. So there's still a chance to go through all the lessons, to do your work and actually have a portfolio piece. I'm seeing a couple amazing examples. I don't know. Well, let me get your thoughts. What have you been seeing so far with people submitting stuff?
It's been great. People are really enthusiastic. For those of us that are watching in other spots, the party's happening in Discord. So a lot of the stuff that we're going over, everything that I've gone over is in Discord. I think same for Chad. And the party's there. So make sure you sign up to our Discord server and, just hang out with us there. And it's not just that, there's a ton of other stuff. But specifically, the Animatic Challenge has been fun to look at. There's a lot of cool stuff coming in. And we'll talk more about that. I want to mention, I caught your talk at 3 with the other mentor.
Yeah.
That was awesome. That was
fun
talk. That was a fun talk, yeah. It got a little industry heavy, like heavyweight kind of talk. Like, I don't like doing this anymore. But there was some great stuff for beginners and for people that just want little nuggets of truth here and there. And I think my favorite question or favorite answers were, what have you learned at various jobs? And that was great to pick through 20, 30 years of knowledge right there. So that's worth it to go back and listen to them for that, let alone sign up for the mentorship.
Oh, that's so awesome. I'm glad you say that because, I thought so too. It's just the wealth of experience that all of these guys had. I was almost like having a little bit of, I don't know, like fanboy action there because, I've known these guys for a long time. I've worked with a bunch of them.
That's why I'm laughing because I know some of these people too. And it's just like,
right. I forgot, I forgot Spiros, who's one of the guys on there. Just tell a little story that I forgot he worked on Kung Fu Panda. He told me that a long time ago. And I was like, that's one of my favorite films of that DreamWorks did. I was like, that film is awesome. And he worked on it. He was a board artist there. So it was just kind of cool.
And it's funny because you get a little starstruck, right?
Yeah.
I think it happens with everybody, just like me and you, we grew up together. Same thing with other friends. Like you see their work and you're like, oh my God, what they're doing is so amazing, right? That happens all the time. But stay focused on your own journey, right?
Oh yeah, totally. And then we had, talking about the talks, I think all of the stuff that you can see is going to be on our social media. You can see the replays, but did you catch the Robert Valley and Derek Thompson talk that we did? Derek's from Pixar and Robert is just amazing. That guy, he's Emmy winning.
I did not, but I'm going to go back.
Man, you got to watch that. Everybody's got to watch that. It was highly entertaining. It's an adult conversation. So yeah,
Robert Valley is always entertaining.
He's always an entertaining guy. He's one to never be shy about anything. It's a very adult conversation. Just to warn you, there's some subject matter. Well, I guess just we're kicking it with old friends. But then there was another talk. I just got to bring this up. Abram Cox, who's a person that I admire. He was so generous with his time, and he said some really kind words about storyboard art and the stuff that we're doing. And he was on the other day, and man, I was like just so impressed with what he was talking about. But
This is a good spot. This is a good spot. Before we jump into it, I know everybody wants us to jump into the Animatic challenge, and I have some general notes. But I was going to ask you what else you got coming up for Sunday and tonight, if there's anything else tonight.
No, tonight, this is the last talk for tonight. I think what I'm going to plan to do is get off of this and go onto Discord and start responding to people. I have like a pile of emails and a pile of just submissions that people have put in. So I love to give comments. That's all part of this. I want to give people feedback. So that's really fun. And so, yeah, so tonight, this is the last talk. Tomorrow, we're doing a Q&A session. And I think that's me solo. So bring your questions. We can talk anything about Animatic Challenge. We can talk mentorship. We can talk Lightbox Expo.
What time?
That one's going to be at 3 p.m. Pacific time,
PST.
3 to 4.
PST.
Yeah, PST. Okay. So for those East Coasters, you want to make sure that you're adding the 3 hours on there. Yeah.
Okay. Is that it for tomorrow?
And that's it for tomorrow for us, at least for the live streams. We're still going to be going with the Animatic Challenge. Again, that's still going to be open for a whole week. And I got to bring this up again, just in case anybody is catching this and still wants to sign up. Even if you just follow along and look at other people's work. I mean, man, I'm getting inspired by other people. So that's something that you just want to take advantage of. At least I think so. When else do you get to see other people really activated doing work, live like this? In less than a couple of days, some people have put animatics together. I don't think I'm even that fast. Like, it's great.
It's what's her name? Libby something. She's on it. There's one girl. She is just. I
think we're gonna look at her stuff too. Yes.
She's super quick with her work, and she's on Discord. She's on it. And before we get into it, I have a few general notes that I've been seeing back and forth. And this is cool that you mentioned. Like, it's. Everyone's activated doing the same thing. And that's the neat thing about this, is because you can hang out online and do other challenges and art challenges and see things. But this is kind of like we're doing it together, and you're getting to see there's people giving you critiques back, and you're getting to see what other folks have done and what they can change and what you can fix and what you can make better and what's working and what's not. And because you have lesson plans and things like that. So this is very unique compared to some other art challenges that go on online. Because I'll still do some of that stuff like Inktober or Monster, whatever month it is, or, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I want to say people are doing great. One thing that could really help us out here is hygiene, like Nick.
Screen hygiene, right? Yeah.
Screen
I love
hygiene,
that term.
man.
That's something.
Yeah, man.
Well, why don't you tell people what that is? Because maybe some people haven't heard that term either.
So just being neat about what you do, and mostly for us, label the shots. And I know not everybody knows how to label it properly, but just even if you do 1, 2, 3, just in a line, I can go back and say shot 27, right? But, if you're panning across, it would be shot like 2A, 2B, 2C, and then you go back into 3. But if you just labeled it 1 through whatever.
Right, or ABC, whatever, right?
Oh, man, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good tip. Great tip, actually.
Yeah. Numbers, not letters, because you only get 26 letters, and then you're into double A and double B.
You're right.
But anyway, label the shots first. That would help out when we're critiquing and typing for you guys. The script, I read it. It's cool. Who was it that wrote that?
That's Boston McConaughey. He is a filmmaker and writer, and so I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, because you're also a writer, done a lot of comic work. And you've written a couple of screenplays too.
Yeah, a couple
or shorts, right?
Some sitcoms and things like that. Yeah, but I only got like 2 pages, so I didn't get the whole script. Did you work on it as a film?
Yeah, it was just 2 pages. There is a full script, but of course, we can't put all of that.
No, but I'm asking if you worked on this film or anything.
I did.
What's your involvement with it?
Oh, that's actually a really good question to bring up, because, well, let me tell you guys a little bit of the history of that. So I know Boston and Rennie, who are the creators of that film, and it's no longer called actually Shotgun Jimmy. It's transformed into something else. It's called Alien Country, and I think you guys can go to aliencountry.com or aliencountry.co. You guys do a search. Maybe we can bring it up here. But that was a film that I was helping them develop. And I did some story work. I did some kind of development work. I was slated at one time to help them direct, but the circumstances didn't work out. I had family issues there, and they had an accelerated shoot date. So anyway, the film is complete. They've shot it. They're now doing post-production. It looks amazing. This is an independent film that is relatively low budget, but the production value is spectacular. And it's changed. So not everything that we're doing here in this challenge is in the final product. I think it's somewhat transformed a little bit. But what we did back then, this was back in 2020, I believe, 2019, 2020, when they actually produced the film. I did the development work earlier then. I think we talked a little bit about that. I think I mentioned to you I was on this alien
I didn't
movie.
Know. I didn't know they actually finished it or got somebody to direct it. Yeah. See,
yeah.
And
Boston directed it.
What I got out of Sergio's whole comments right there is that even the best laid plans, even family, will mess up the best laid plan of working. So it didn't actually happen the way you wanted, but hey, the other things that happened that were great.
I think things happen for a reason, and I don't think anybody could have shot that film except for Boston. He is just an amazing guy, amazing filmmaker, and I probably would have been in the way. So I think it was the best thing that happened for the project. And of course, I had family stuff to deal with, which is great. I wanted to do that, and so that's the background behind what we're doing here. This is a real project that you guys are working on.
So part of the reason I brought up the script is, like I said, I read it, and it's 2 pages, so there's not a lot for me to say about it. But the later half, the very end of it is a little vague or ambiguous, and I think a lot of people have done like different things.
Yes. And
even me, I'm not sure. So I posed the question in Discord. I was like, is the shadowy creature behind Jimmy, in front of Jimmy? It's not really clear like where everybody is in that last few shots. So it's interesting to see what people have done and where they place the characters. And some people are like, there's a dissolve, like a gun falls and then it dissolves into smoke.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, like, there's 2 types of guns. There's a shotgun and a pistol from the cop. And some people have the pistol falling and dissolving. So,
right. I think the intention is that the shotgun disappears, right? And that's what's left of James, the character.
See, we don't even know that. The script isn't very clear on that. That goes into my next comment is design. And I know that's something we've talked about before at Storyboard Art. We're not designers, but you should design with intent and purpose and have good silhouettes for your characters and make them different, right? So I'm seeing a lot of characters that are just like me, just a bald guy, right? Just, circular head, and that's about it. But you got on your example, for instance, you got Sheriff Roy, and he's got the big brim hat going on, maybe some glasses. Jimmy's got long flowing hair. So make them different enough that you can tell. Same thing with the guns. And you might not be the biggest gun enthusiast. I'm not. But,
you got to do your research, though.
A little bit, yeah. A shotgun is long, and a pistol is like, a standard issue, bang, bang, cops and robbers kind of gun. Yeah. So some people are drawing them all the same size, and they vary throughout the scene. That's a little, it's a little vague. So you want to make sure even the props you're designing, so we can understand what's going on. Same thing with what's funny. I've joked a couple of times. I've left comments for people that I'll be like, "Why is the sheriff's hat flying around?" And it's actually the UFO that they have flying around, but it looks like just a brim hat. It could be either or the man with the yellow hat or whatever from Curious George. They're making it too similar. So I would say, design with intent and purpose. So when you're drawing this stuff out, characters look different. The important props look different, and then you avoid those mistakes, especially when people are reading these boards as fast as possible.
Yeah. For sure.
My next bit of advice: direction of the movement of the characters and the placement in relationship to each other and their surroundings. That's a big one going on. I think, if we go off of what you've done already in your original samples.
I did the first page of the script, and I did the first half of that animatic that you see in the lessons.
Yeah, so some people have followed that, and they'll have the cops on screen left, and they'll have Jimmy on screen right, and some people have mixed it up where it's, one or the other, which is fine. But it leaves like a question of where the actual UFO comes in, from which screen direction, where does it land. And I think if we're going off of your example, there's only one good choice to make of which way the spaceship comes in and lands. But that's just me. But I think it should come in from the left. I think I can't remember. Okay. But there's like one good direction. But if you go if you make it fly over the cops and land behind them, then eventually Jimmy has to run past the cops, right, to get to the UFO.
Yes.
Which doesn't make a lot of sense if they lose track of him. But if he's running right past them, they don't really lose him. And then you got to give him time to get past them, to like search his surroundings and find the device that he picks up. But some people are doing that where it's behind them or behind him. Some people have forgotten the cop that chased him in page 1. So there's a lot of attention to detail that's there. And, a lot of it, like I said, ends up about placement. Where are they, and where are they going, and where have they come from? That's really important in storyboarding, right? And layout and figuring things out. I know you've made I remember for Little Boy, you shared with us some maps that you mapped out where an overhead projection, oh, this character's here, this character's there, this is where the bus is, and that kind of thing. Right. Maybe some people should do that to plan out their shots a little bit better.
Yeah, that's good tips. I'm going to bring some of that stuff up here in a second. So let me bring that up on screen. And I'll show people my version of the storyboards. And let me see if I can make this bigger.
So is this your version of page 2 or?
This is page 1. So I just wanted to, you mentioned the screen direction. If I kind of just flip through this, now this isn't the actual animatic where I time it out and I put it in the movie format. But let's get to the end part. It kind of looks a little animated if I go fast, right? That's a little bit of the idea.
Yeah. And nice design on Jimmy, giving him a bandana.
Yeah.
Right? He's different right away.
Yeah, exactly. That was a point that I wanted to make too, is that he kind of looks, he's got this Rambo kind of look. It was supposed to be set in the 80s anyway. And that as soon as the cop comes in there, it's going to be totally different, right? So that, or at least the silhouette is recognizable as a different thing. Also, just, Chad here has brought up the Discord link, so you guys can see that if you want to participate in the Discord. But right here, this is kind of the screen direction I'm choosing is somewhat favored to the screen left is where the cops are, and then James is on screen right, or coming from right to left. Okay, so even here, cops are on the left, and James is going to be on the right. So he's going.
Can you go back to Sheriff Roy?
Yeah.
So he's kind of in the middle right there, but look where he's looking. He's looking, to the left.
Yeah, he's looking
screen right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's looking left to right. Yeah.
And then here, this is a pretty clear shot, right, where these guys are to the left, he's on the right. If you split this frame right down the middle, that's the idea there. Screen direction should be pretty.
And like I said, it's fine that some people didn't use this or follow this as an example, didn't follow your designs or anything. That's fine. I get that. But like I said, you have to think about where the UFO is coming from and where it's landing and stuff like that. And I think there's important choices. Yeah. So, and again, landing behind him, you got to think, does that give him enough time? If this is a live action, right? He's going to be able to run past them and then search everything. They're not going to catch up to him right away. Even if they're, fat donut eating cops, I don't know.
Right. Those are great tips. So what should we get into it and start looking at some examples here? Let me bring up our Discord, and I have a couple that are kind of queued up. Throughout this whole week, I've been trying to catch up to people's submissions. Wahab has been doing that as well. Chad, who's also community mentor, and then you guys who are participating in this challenge event have also been giving notes, which is part of the exercise here. That's what we want to encourage, is that we're all giving feedback and collectively learning together. So let me bring this up on screen, and I'll show you the Discord here. And I want to bring this one up from C. Berlin. This is, let me make this a little bit larger. And you know what? Actually, let me share this again, because some of these have audio, and I want to make sure that we're able to hear the audio. So let me share my screen one more time, and we'll get this going with some audio action just in case. All right, cool. And let me go back here and rewind this. Okay, let's just play this and we'll do some kind of commentary over the top. You know, nice clear drawings, actually. This is looking pretty solid.
Oh, no, don't pull it. Oh, bam. No, he
I'm
didn't.
assuming that's slow motion, right? Because that was a little slow to be on a trigger.
That's you know, that's something I've noticed now that they're actually getting into the animatics.
Yeah.
Is the next thing you want to think about once you're actually doing an animatic is the timing of the shot, like how long you keep that shot on the animatic. And I think some people are getting it a little bit better than others, where it's like one that I looked at today, the sheriff picking up the hat, and it's like 5 different drawings of him picking up the hat and then putting it back on after the ship has landed.
Yeah, well, you know, at this point, you do want to be worried about timing. So like I called out that with the trigger. If you intended that to be slow motion, okay, that's cool. But this one with the alien ship coming in, it feels a little slow, right? Wahab? Like I feel like you probably
it should be like one or two shots of it zooming over. You can do like speed lines. Like look at my hand right now, just doing that. I'm sure.
You got the blur going on, motion blur.
Yeah, that's just real life. So if you just drew it with like speed line blurs, that would read well as like, oh, it's moving really fast. So one shot of that and then it's out.
Yeah, a couple of good things that I see here. One, the drawings look really clear. You've done a really nice job of rendering this stuff up. And I think I didn't get lost there. I thought the screen direction was pretty good. So yeah, so far so good there. That one is from C. Berlin. Thanks, man. I think that looks excellent. Let's go to the next one.
To see more. There's a lot more to see to that scene, but yeah.
Yeah, that was just like the first half of that. Cool.
And,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I was going to say, I feel like the second page that you gave of the script, there feels like it's 2 scenes. There's the standoff with the cops and Jimmy, and then there's also the discovery of the ship. And both of those things, there's a lot of tension in the first part, and there's a lot of suspense in the second part. And it's really interesting to see how different people have been playing those 2 things up, and the timing of that. There's timing in that too. Like how do you slow it down enough to make your to get your nerves on edge, and how do you get the suspense up to make yourself creeped out, or like, oh my god, what's gonna happen?
Yeah, for sure. And actually, I missed the name on here. This one is from Tamarak 22 sketches, I guess is your handle. Let's check out this one. I think I remember seeing this, but let's just push play. All right. Got some really cool shots here. Yeah, this is part of the fun part where like the UFO comes in, right? That's where if you imagine watching this film, like you wouldn't expect that to happen. This is the point where it was just a straight chase, but then something really unique happens at that moment. Wow, very cool. You're doing some interesting stuff with the script. Like he brought up a picture of the crash site. I'm going to go back to that in a second, but let's just let this play out.
Mm-hmm. Jimmy looks really nice in this one too. Like he's really different compared to the cop.
Yeah,
you can tell anybody with a ripped up jean vest, that's not a cop.
Yeah, and he's got the like nice mullet action with his hair. That's cool.
Yeah, that's not
this is looking haircut. Great.
Nice rifle or shotgun.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's a rifle or a shotgun, but it looks different compared to a pistol. So we know that that's his.
Yeah, let me play this again. Now there is one thing. Let me just pause this. There's an interesting going on with the way that you're framing this. You have like a shadow or like a mask layer over the top of this. I know the YouTube kind of titles are getting in the way of this, right? Like if I play this, you see, let me see if I play this again. You see that edge is like, I would get rid of that. Basically, I just, frame for the actual frame. So what I don't know here is sometimes with the way that you export images in some of these programs is that like it gives you a title safe or it gives you like a guide on there. I get rid of all that stuff. I just want to see the composition of the shot. And so the interesting thing here, you have this like opacity layer. I'm not sure if you're framing for the whiter portion or the stuff that's like just white, black and white inside the frame. So that's something that looks a little weird composition wise. I think you might want to just crop in or, well, the reason I bring it up, right? What happens is like when we get to something like this, look at this framing where this guy's just right on the edge. So it looks if that were the edge of the frame, everything just looks a little tight. I'd probably frame for the outer part here that you have with this.
I'm not sure what that gray. I'm not sure what that gray frame is. Also, the on the other side, the crash, it's not as centered. I think that's a little too far off now to the right. If you have that giant, if you take out that section with the gray bar,
yeah,
like you might want to be a little bit closer. Can you go back to the beginning though, when you first pause it with the cops with their guns drawn?
Right about here.
Yeah, let it play out. It'll be right after this.
Okay.
Yeah, right after this shot. He kind of flopped the screen direction with those guys.
Oh, that's right. That's a good. Yeah, that's a good call here.
I mean, the camera can be set up on this side of the street, right? It makes sense. You can shoot them from this side, or you can go to the other side of the street. But just film direction-wise, they're always pointing the other way. So you kind of want them to look to the right the whole time, so we don't get look. He's looking to the right. Jimmy's to his right. Yeah. So we want to keep it that way.
Exactly. So that's a good call. Yeah. Right here is where you flop screen direction. But essentially you put the camera on the other side of the 180 line. And this is stuff that we bring up with screen direction and kind of just staging in general. And so if you don't know what we're talking about, we can describe that a little bit more. But that to make this work, what I was saying here is you just flop the shot. It's kind of an easy fix. You just like flop it horizontally in Photoshop or whatever program you're using. And that should work. And so, you're right. And then it hooks up. Everywhere else it's fine.
Everywhere else is doing good. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me fast forward to that one part, which I thought was really interesting. That's something I thought you're doing really cool, is this one where it looks like, so this is something you did that is not necessarily in the script. I kind of like the fact that you did this idea. You're making it your own, is that when he sees the crash site, he actually has some kind of map or something, right? Let me see if I can pause it on that frame. Like, check this out. This is really actually kind of cool, because what you're trying to insinuate is the fact that he was expecting this, or he knew of it somehow. And that's why he goes to the crash site. I've been bringing up that point for a lot of people too, is that in the script, it's not very clear why he would go investigate a crash in the middle of him trying to escape from the cops. I would think of it like, if he got the opportunity to escape because of some kind of distraction, he'd be gone. Like, I would be gone. I wouldn't stick around for any kind of, even a car crash or airplane crash. I'd be like, well, that's not my problem. And I'd be, boom, I'm out of there, right? But in this case, I love how you solve this. You're like bringing him back into this moment for a reason, and you're making it a story point. So that's kind of cool. And you're actually, if you look at this, right, isn't the illustration very similar to how that ship looks here? Kind of a nice match cut.
Yeah, it's a great shot actually. Yeah. And even though he's making it his own, he's not going too far off course with the whole assignment, where it's just like, well, you're not even, following the script anymore at all.
Yeah.
So I think some people get a little too excited to change things up, that they miss the trees for the forest, or whatever the saying is.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And, I always say that you can't turn your brain off when you're doing story work like this. You always have to be thinking. And I love it. You're showing me how you're thinking here. Let me bring up your handles, the Tutu Sketches and Tamarack 22. So excellent work so far. Cool. Let's keep going. This is getting fun. Okay. Should we bring up a still one? These are people that are doing, and people are at all stages of this. So some people are still on the thumbnails, and I'll see if I can make this a little bit bigger that we can look at it. I guess that's as big as it'll go here. Let me see if I can make this full screen.
You know,
And
even from far away, this one is great because of all the perspective grids laid down, and you can really easily see everything from so far away, even if you don't zoom in.
And guess what? They actually numbered their panels, right? This is excellent. Kylie, you're killing it here. This is awesome. Nice job. Nice job. Yeah, and clear drawings, like really numbered well. This is well presented. It's very clean. This is the kind of stuff you can pitch to a director. Like, and you know, and we're not even talking about the quality of your drawings. Like everybody, we can always improve our drawings, right? But if you show this to somebody, they can read it. It's readable. You can pitch it to them, and I think you won't get lost, right? In fact, certainly won't get lost with the numbering. So that's great.
Honestly, I think from all the ones that I've seen and Chad have seen, what you're to your point about our drawings can always be better. You know, on any given day, one of us can outdraw the other one. And I think the ones that are really successful are the ones that really think about the clarity of the whole thing. Like, I never get lost. Like, what was that? Was that a hat or was it a ship? And it's not because the drawing is better, but they've designed it and thought about what it's going to be. And also, I think a lot of the acting in the characters. So it's not unclear at all what the intention of that character is. So there are some people where they have him stumbling down the hill, and you have a similar shot where he's like stumbling on his bike, I think, or trips up. And those are great. And he gets up and like brushes himself off. Some people have him kind of like walking up the hill casually. And I'm like, would you walk up the hill casually if the cops are chasing you in this situation? I don't think so. And other people have him like just straight booking it up the hill. And I think that's, you know, more successful, right? And he's looking over his shoulder. He's scared. There's stuff in front of him. A lot of that makes more sense. And the ones that are clear in that intention are a lot more successful, I think. Right, and it's not about drawing quality, right? Because you can do like simple emoji type drawing quality things, and it would
I love this comment from Emma. I'll bring this up. She's like, "Ooh, that sounds like a draw off challenge right there." This is something that we could do too. Is like, you know, at any point we could pick a subject matter and have, you know, the whole gang here and all the participants do it in their version. And I think it'd just be an exciting and fun exercise just to see how people do it. But that makes a lot of sense, Emma. Great. I think these are looking awesome, Kylie. So fantastic work here. Let's keep on going down. I think there was a couple more animatics I wanted to highlight. This one looks cool. Let me just go down the list here and bring this up. This one's from Claire, or Clarissa, it looks like. And wow, these are really beautiful. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger, and we'll scan through it. Let me start on the top. Great. Yeah, you're doing a lot of work on the front end. Let me just kind of scan this so that everybody can see. Yep. Second row here.
See, hold on a second. See, the wind is whipping the hair and the money, and it's like you can feel the scene, right? So it's not about how great this drawing is, right? She's got kind of like a rubber hose arm in that one. It's not that she's drawing it poorly or amazingly, but the intention of what's going on in that scene is there. So I really feel like I'm there now because I feel some, you know, I'm guessing it's the spaceship that's creating that wind force, but there's like a gush of air coming, and it's blowing the money and it's blowing Jimmy's hair. And now he's looking at it, he's like, oh, my money, what? You know?
Right.
So you really get a feeling in the scene. It really transports you into that scene.
Yeah, and look at this. These look kind of like stick figures, but totally effective, right? I wouldn't. This is fine. This is totally an acceptable storyboard panel that, you know, sometimes that's all we have time to do in a production setting. And I think these are great. You added the tones. The tones really help to pop it out. Hopefully it didn't take too much time.
A lot of people have been doing a really terrific job laying in values, not just this person, but everybody that's put in value has done it well. I don't think there's one that's been unclear, you know, or done it in a hastily kind of way, but it really adds a lot to all of them, especially because the Aurora device has a green glow to it. I think that adds, and people are adding like a little spot color in their boards. That really helps too.
Yeah, awesome. Very cool. Now, did you want to share your screen too, Wahab? You had some stuff that you had queued up, or?
Yes. Yes, I do.
You want to do that? Let me take a break from my screen, and we'll have a chance to share too.
Sure. And this is going to be really, really quick.
Great, yeah. And while we do that, I'm going to check out there's tons of great conversation going on with you guys here, and then this one's really, really fun. Let me see, I scanned this from Shab's Boy Animation. He says, "Hello, Sergio. Wow, this is live. You betcha. We're coming at you live, and you guys have been doing the work. And this is one of the reasons why we want to just collaborate and make sure that everybody's participating in this challenge and getting something out of it. You should be learning. That's the whole point of this, is that you're learning something. And that's why we sponsor the Lightbox Expo, to get people involved and grow, add something to your portfolio, and make something really cool. So, and then by the way, any questions that you guys have, we're going to set some time out in this talk to answer some questions at the end of this. Let me bring up your screen here, Wahab. All right, what we got here?
I don't know. You tell me what you see in this.
Wow, is this yours or somebody else's submission?
No, this is, I did this as an example. So one of the things I've always said, if I've ever helped you out and critiqued for folks, is sometimes people will be very centered with their shots. And what I mean is, like, I don't know if you're taller than me or I'm taller than you, but let's say you and I are the
way
same
taller
height,
than you. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
No, I think we're the same height, actually.
We're about the same height. But if I had a camera and we were, in real life, just making a movie, and we had like all these actors that were all the same height, right? And I just grabbed the camera and I did this, and I stood up and I followed you around, right? It would be the most boring, it's just like, okay, let's just go straight. Like, can I get underneath? Can I go above you? Can I go around you? Can I twist the camera? What can I do? So I just want to show people, like, a lot of people, sometimes they'll end up doing, it's really clear. That's one thing that's great, right? Yes. So a lot of people have these really clear boards, but then it's always, the horizon is like right across dead center.
Yeah.
And the characters are always like, right there in the middle.
Yeah.
A lot of medium shots. So I asked the kids.
This is fantastic.
Toys.
Where did you get these toys?
Just around the house. So, I mean, if you have to know, I mean, I think those are muscles that I had. Those are my muscles.
Are those original, like back from the 80s or what?
I think so. I inherited them from a friend. This little motorcycle front end is from like a Kinder Egg. Okay. This guy is from Cars 2.
Wow.
I think that's a Thomas.
This is so rad. What a great way. This is actually how people block things out in a film. I kid you not. I've been on a couple like conversations and story breakdowns where they do this. They have photo stills, and hey, but is that updating correctly? Go back to some of these images, because I feel like, or can you pull down your window and then bring it back up again? Because I don't know, it seems to be blurring with the previous image on there.
Like that?
No, wait, just actually move your window off screen and bring it back. Oh, there it goes. Now it seemed to be cleaned up a bit. Okay, cool.
All right.
This is great. And then what kind of camera are you using? Is this just from your phone or what?
It's just my phone, man. It's just whatever you have lying around. So my advice to people is
wow, it looks really good. It's like you got depth of field going on.
I was gonna say it's not even that. It's just, just to get your mind moving around, right? So here I placed the camera by his feet. And the funny thing is, so I asked the kids to give me some toys, and they grabbed this muscle, the one with his arms up. And I was like, that's perfect, right? And I'm like, okay, I need a few cars that'll fit in the background and a motorcycle. And they got all that stuff really quick, right? And it's just,
this is amazing.
Just whatever you have. I think my favorite thing is like those little cheap dollar store army men. You can put them around anywhere, right? And just block out scenes like this. Like, I think this is a pretty good shot, right?
Excellent shot.
Yeah, and I did depth of field just to show. I think I had two switched up. Where you can change it on your camera. Yeah, so right here. So here I'm focused on the cops, and here I'm focused on Jimmy, if you get the gist of the shot that I'm setting up. And it took me like two seconds to do. And it just gives you options. I didn't move any other stuff around. And you can, right? Because sometimes maybe something's out of the shot or it's too far off. And you can cheat and bring stuff back and forth and reshoot just to get a better shot. But this really helps you block in, right? So you get the cars that are in the super foreground. So you can see just from this photo right here, there's a lot of depth, right? You have the cars in the super foreground, you have the cops in the middle ground, and then you have Jimmy in the far background. And then his motorcycle is kind of out of view, or in an awkward spot here. So I would probably like move it to that empty spot between.
Yeah, you could kind of get it to empty spot. Wait, can you move your mouse to where you put that?
Wait. Oh.
Yeah, go back to that frame. Yeah, where you're saying where you move the motorcycle. Okay. Yeah, you probably move it to like screen right. Yeah, right about there. Like okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So that's how you would draw it, right? If you're using this as like inspiration or like just reference, then don't draw it like you actually have that photo. That's the power of what we do as artists. We move that stuff to where we need it. Yeah, this is great.
This helps you. This helps you so much, right? And see on the far left, it's just his hand. You can choose to move him, like his head here or something, and move him closer into the frame or whatnot. But just overall, it's a real quick tool to get you thinking more than anything. So you've already set up the shot. Like I tell a lot of people on the critiques, you've already done the hard part. It's already down on paper. You've already knocked it all out. And now how do you go back and make all the shots a little bit more interesting if you've gone a little too safe? I think this helps.
Man, can you do us a favor and when after this call, after our talk here, upload that to Discord so people can see it somehow. Like if you can show people.
Sure, I can do that.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
And I'm not saying they're all successful shots either. I'm just like this one. I think there's a lot of negative space for this shot. So I think maybe that one's not as great compared to some other shots. But, I just took my camera and just started moving it around.
Wow. Anyway. Very cool. Love it. So let me share my screen again. I want to bring up another example. And we were talking about Livy like earlier here. Yeah. So Livy Jade, who's doing a challenge with us. She's on it and doing great. Let me bring this up. Hopefully you guys can see my screen here. Let me make this larger and we'll play this. I think this has sound. So let me just play it and we'll let her rip.
Put your weapon down and step away from the vehicle or we will open fire.
Nice use of sound effects here. Sounds a big deal when you put animatics together. It really helps bring things together.
Sir, we've got a runner.
Nice. Look at that shot. Wow, so cool. That was really complete. Yeah, nice job. Excellent. Let me play it one more time and I'll probably bring the sound down so we can comment on this. But yeah, what do you see about this? I guess my main comment would be I think it one amazing. I've seen a couple of iterations now from you, Livy, bringing this together. and hopefully everybody else has been commenting on this stuff too. I feel like now that you're at this stage, now we can talk a little bit about timing. And I still think like you can trim it down. Like there's a couple pauses in there, like this moment where he's like looking around. I feel like, you just trim it a little bit so it feels like things keep on moving. And yet, when he starts running away, it feels like, oh, wait a minute, that's like the Flash. He just bolted and disappeared in the background. You might want to slow that one down because, no human being can run that fast, right? Or this is not a superhero movie here. What do you think about some stuff to give comments for Livy?
One thing that that I've been trying to mention to her is back in the beginning. Can you go back to when the spaceship flies overhead?
Yeah.
It takes a turn. It turns to the screen right.
Mm-hmm.
Here it comes, and then it turns. It looks like it turns screen right, and then it crashes to the right of them. But then it kind of looks like he's looking the opposite direction, and everything happens to the other side of the hill. So now, see, they're looking to their left.
Yeah, and like, let me pause that. I think I know what you're talking about.
So I feel like all these shots that happen afterwards should be faced the other direction. And I've been trying to tell her that, and I don't think it's getting across in my notes. And she's like, I'm not getting it.
I see.
So I don't know. Either flop all those shots after the spaceship crashes, or just take that turnout and turn the spaceship the other way to the screen left. Make it turn left.
Right. Like I'm trying to draw something here. My pen is not working. I think it's because I'm on the streaming. But
did you get what I'm saying? Am I seeing that right? Or
yeah, totally. So like one way, my pen is totally busted here. But let's see if I can like hash this out. For some reason, the opacity is really low. But I would do something like this. If this were the cop, and let's assume he's got that big wide brim hat, just to, for Wahab's note, I would make it like he's kind of, his eye line is here. I would probably put Jimmy in the shot, or James in the shot. Let's assume like this is his motorcycle. He might be like already like off of it or something. There could be another cop like in the foreground here, but that we clearly see all the elements, right? Is that what you're kind of talking about? That makes more sense. Yeah. Yeah. Like it, hillside.
Having all the elements in there helps too. But I feel like the shot that she has is from Jimmy's side of the street. So the cameraman is standing in front of, on Jimmy's side of the street, looking at the cops.
Yeah.
That's how I feel like she's drawn it, not this way. But if she had it like this would make more sense too. Otherwise, I think it's looking amazing. I think she's been doing a great job. I think the timing too, like you said, some things can be sped up, some things can be slowed down. I think there was one point that you mentioned in another one of your videos for her where he tumbles down the hill, and that was a little slow.
Yes.
I think he gets up and he like looks for his duffel bag for a split second. I think he can just grab the duffel bag, pick it right back up, and get going. I think the very end when the cop is shooting at the monster could happen a lot more rapidly, just like bah, bah, and just just really really quick, split second. Timing is funny, and I remember back we were working on a project a long time ago, and you were like, "Yeah, 5 minutes is a long time." And then we were in a movie theater somewhere watching this awful trailer. I forgot what the movie was, but I turned you in the theater. I was like, "God, you're right. 5 minutes is a long time when you don't like something. Like it could be forever, and even like a few seconds can last an eternity depending on what it is." You got to be really careful with the timing. Like what's important, what's not important, what's a quick action. Like some people have the sheriff, the hat falls off or gets blown off because of the wind stream of the ship. And is it really important that he picks it up slowly and puts it back on his head? Is that part of the story? He could possibly, but is it part of the story? Like make that part of the story. Make it where it's like No Country for Old Men, where he's just tired of this. Like, I got to chase another one of these idiots. Like, this is what I'm going to do today. And then he's like, but if you're in a rapid hurry up kind of situation, you're not doing that. You're grabbing it or just even leaving it and then coming back for that hat later. So.
Yeah. And one of the things that we brought up in the earlier chat with the mentors was that you are essentially a mini director. That was something I think Steve Lee brought up, who has just years and years of experience, decades of experience in this. And that he mentioned something that we're the first director paths when it comes to these sequences. And that's where this filmmaking idea comes in. It's not enough to just have a pretty drawing. And in fact, it's not even about pretty drawings. We mentioned that earlier in the afternoon talk. And this is getting it, when you get into timing, to me, it's like the filmmaking part, which I really nerd out about. I love it. It's like you're playing with music or temp sound, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect, but just the temp audio and like what we've seen here from Livy's example, it helps so much, the timing of even just like doing, you know, with your microphone and going in there and doing hemming it up and making temp dialogue, that when you time it out in your animatic, it really helps. And just to make that really tight, you know.
I think she asked about what kind of music she can use now that she's got her animatic together. I think, you know, eventually you can't use it, but like I would use finished music from other movies, right?
Exactly.
Like,
that's
like, yeah.
That's exactly what we do in the story rooms. Like, you know, the storyboards nobody sees. This is completely behind the camera. You know, there's nothing public. Anything that we do as story artists is just the pre-planning for a particular project, a film, a movie, animation, TV show, whatever. And we oftentimes in the editing room, we take film scores from existing films. Especially, we were doing this a lot on Star Wars and on Rebels and Resistance, like random movies. I would use Terminator. You know, some of the films that I liked when I was a kid, like The Abyss. I brought, you know, if it was like a mysterious thing. I remember I took a clip from The Abyss, from like Spielberg's Hook, and just, you know, to get that exciting feeling, whatever it was. It could have been John Williams. It could be whatever you want. Doesn't matter. So with this one, why don't you pick like an alien film that like could be Close Encounters, it could be Aliens from Ridley Scott, from James Cameron, and see if it fits.
Another one of your favorites, Raising Arizona, right?
Yeah, the Coen brothers.
Yeah, when the car chases. Yeah, that'd be great.
I love that car chase, right? I brought that. That's in the mentorship as one of the lessons that I had, because I'm a big fan of the Coen brothers. I think that still holds up as just one of the all-time greatest car chases. That kind of underrated. People don't really remember that film that much anymore. But go check out that car chase in Raising Arizona, and I think you'll know what I'm talking about. It's so creative the way they do it. The dog in there, and there's like, you know, they go through a convenience store. It's just really hilarious how that comes out. Stuff that you can use, right? Hey, I want to get to a bunch of questions, as many as we can here, because we're getting close to the end of this, and I want to see. Yeah, what you guys are talking about and what's going on. Let me just scan the chat here, and I'll bring this up on screen so we can hit as many as possible. And yeah, so we all learn together. And like I said, if you still haven't got to, maybe you're new, maybe this is like the first time you're seeing this animatic challenge, there's still time to do this stuff. If we did this just a few days, like I think we're about what, day 4, day 5 at the most into this. And so we still have like 6 or 7 days left. So that's really cool. All right.
I have a general question for you about how long they'll have access to the videos and all that. Can you explain it a little bit better? So
yes.
every couple of days they'll get a lesson and they'll get a video as soon as they sign up. So first they sign up. Whenever you sign up, you get a email back and then access to the lesson. How long does that access last?
The access, we're going till the end of next week, which is September 17th, I believe is the date. It's on next Friday when we're going to end the challenge, and then all the lessons kind of go away. This was part of an archive of the material that we have. I did these back in the day when I was working on this project, and that's where I collected this material. So we started this for the Lightbox Expo, and the way you sign up is you click on, in fact, that's a good segue. Let me click on the banner link again.
So what if somebody signs up next Thursday for the lesson? Is it too late?
Well, it theoretically is not. If you can get to as many lessons as possible, we're going to try and release them sooner because of all the activity with Lightbox. We pace them out about 1 or 2 days. So when you sign up, the first lesson hits, you can watch that and you start doing those exercises. Then about a day or 2 later, you get the next lesson, and there's a couple bonus lessons in there too. So yeah, if you sign up late next week, you're not going to be able to see all of the material. But that's why I encourage you to go to Discord, because that will live there forever. I mean, our Discord stuff is not going away as long as Discord is hosting our material. You can check it out, and you're going to see that stuff there. If you want to continue this exercise, and this is where, here's how you get better, is join the mentorship. You're going to get access to all of this stuff, and you can meet me and Wahab and the rest of the Storyboard Art crew, and you can be there with the mentor. So if you're serious about this stuff, you get the full Animatic challenge, you get access to the mentorship and our all access pass for Storyboard Art. So it's a pretty good deal.
I gotta say, this year compared to, you've done this twice now already.
Yep.
I think this year has to be the best, just because. And you know, no offense to you and Nick from this year, but this next one coming up is going to be ridiculously amazing because you have so many people that are involved.
I'm telling you,
that are involved.
Like the lineup here,
and they're not just like story artists. Some of them are directors and have the ability to hire people or put people in positions of jobs. So that one step that's always been true of storyboard art, of networking, it's already pre-built into the mentorship right there, where you have access to, I don't know how many different studios.
Yeah, thank you. Look, I'm clicking on, this is our event page where we're streaming now. And if you click on this, you can see the link to the mentorship. I got to bring this up because I'm pretty proud of this. The fact that like we were able to gather this story team, like watch that chat we did just earlier today at 3 p.m. These guys are unbelievable. Like Spiro, Stephanie, Calvin, like, I mean, the collective knowledge of these guys, you get access to this. And one of the things that I'm really big on is I try to be as aggressive as possible with our pricing. Now we pay these guys, like we hired them. This is a story team. These guys are working. Otherwise we would not get access to them. They'd be, unavailable. Right. And we try and make this as affordable as possible. In fact, let me go down to where we have the pricing to just let people know what this is all about. There's 2 tiers that we're doing for the mentorship. You got the standard plan, which, the full price here is $17.95. You can do it in payments if you want to. There's a payment plan there. And that's for a full year of mentoring with the group that we're doing with all of those mentors that are there. They're going to be on our live review chats. Now, it's a group effort, right? It's a group presentation. Every 2 weeks, we get on a Zoom call with the group. And I don't know of any other college level story course. In fact, I'm really somewhat critical of the education that you get at a university because they don't teach you the storytelling stuff that you need to know to get into the business. And damn it, that's what we're here for, to teach you how to do that, because I was frustrated about that when I came up to school. You and I had a story class together. I think it was probably the only one that was pretty good with Rob Gibbs.
We didn't take it together, but yeah, we took the same
we both had the same teacher,
amazing,
right?
Yeah. But see, okay, so the difference, I think school's still great, but price-wise and all that, that's great. So I know a lot of my classmates had access to Rob. I know you got help from Rob in your career later on, and he helped you get a foot in at Pixar. Yeah. But here you've got like 6, 7, 8 Robs in the room. You know what I'm saying?
There you
go. I mean, Rob is amazing, but I'm just saying, like, you have access to 8 working professionals in this course alone, in one course. So it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And just to give people a little, I mean, you brought it up, so I have to talk it up a bit, is like, just to give people perspective, when we started this mentorship, it was a complete experiment back in 2018. We had a really good response, and that was just me leading the group. This year from 2000, it started in 2020, and it's going all the way through till now. We brought on Nick Sung, who's also one of the returning mentors for the next session, and that was even a step up. This time, I think it's just we've blown up. I'm telling you, this is the real amazing. You cannot beat this one. And I'm going to be there learning from everybody else too.
This year has been great too, to listen to you and Nick go back and forth in the live chats and the live reviews. I think that's my favorite part, is listening, not necessarily conflicting opinions, but maybe even piggybacking off of each other and finding things that you didn't see that Nick didn't see, and vice versa. And that's been great too, to get a lot more clarity in the boards and things that one or the other doesn't pick up, because you guys have a very different vibe about you. I think you're a lot more like boom, boom, action, action, let's go. Where Nick is like a lot more thoughtful and thinking and like what's the subtext behind things. So and not that you're.
Hey, I think too. I think every once in a while.
I didn't mean to make that sound bad, man. You're coming from Star Wars there's a lot more action just inherently in it, and it's an art in and of itself. Am I right? I'm right.
Yeah.
Yes. And with Nick, there's a lot more subtext to the things that he says. So it's great listening to both of you guys.
His sensibility is wonderful. I mean, he knows character. He's so methodical about the way he does a scene, from, learning from somebody like Nick. I mean, he's worked on some of the biggest films at Pixar. Is just fantastic. So it's great.
That's the great thing. You get to see that Pixar mentality, thinking and working. Like, how am I going to make these guys cry in like 2.5 seconds exactly? It's amazing listening to that. And hopefully there's going to be more of that with the other several mentors coming on.
Right. Well, man, we've done it. We've burned another hour at this, and we could go on and on. And so I guess, one of the things that I'm always asking our guests is, like, how can they find you? So other than Storyboard Art, because you are part of our team and one of the community mentors here, but how can they find you? What else, if they want to follow you and the work that you've done, how can they find you?
Instagram, Wahab Alg, WAHABALG. You should be able to find me through that. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't post a lot, like Vaughn said early on. But if I do ever do anything, I'll mention it in the storyboard realm. So don't worry, right. Storyboard art realm. Yeah.
Excellent. I haven't mentioned it enough because, I'm part of the Storyboard Art group, but you can find me at sergiopaez.com. And a big shout out to my boy Danielle, who helped me get that website back up and running because it was down for a while. I needed some expert help to get it back up.
I can't wait to check it out.
Yeah, I actually put up some more samples, some updated samples, stuff from Star Wars that I worked on, a couple of the episodes I directed from Resistance. So that's all there. You can check it out on my website, and actually some of the stuff that's coming up.
I was going to ask, what is coming up? What are you working on now?
Okay, so because we go way back.
I don't know.
No, I was going to say that what I'm about to say is I have a short film that I've been working on for years now, right? And I'm this close to getting the time to finish up the post-production. We shot it, and I actually collaborated with these guys that are in the Animatic Challenge, Boston McConaughey and Rennie Grames. They were the creators of Shotgun Jimmy, and they helped me shoot this short film that I shot in San Francisco. It's got a VR element to it, so virtual reality in there. So there was a technical hurdle that we had to get through, but just now we put that into post-production, and we're starting to do those shots. So I haven't made much of an announcement of it because I want to make sure that it's done and we're ready before we bring it out. But I hopeful say let's be hopeful. Maybe this will help me push it over the edge. Is by the end of this year, I'll have that tightened up, and we're going to probably do a launch and a kind of a campaign to get that out there, hopefully to festivals and things like that. It's a short film that I financed and I created, and it's a personal project, but that's something I'm excited about. Other than that, there's a couple of development things that I've been working on behind the scenes. I can't mention much about it, but lately what I've been doing is, it's all hush hush. These are how these things go. Lately, because of the experience that I had at Lucasfilm and kind of the director's stuff that I do, I've been doing a lot of development on projects. So it includes, and it's kind of up my alley, it's story work, it's doing story structure and creating the ideas, and that's always really, really awesome to do. And some of that is live action, and some of that is animated. So,
live action.
Hopefully,
nice.
Live action stuff. I'm excited about that.
Nice. Well, I know the short film is live action, so I'm excited to finally see that.
Yeah, the short film is live action with visual effects, of course, but it's all fun stuff. But thanks for asking. Those updates that I'll put that for sure. You guys will hear about it on my website, and you can see more of the stuff that we do at Storyboard Art. But as we sign off here, I just want to give a big, huge thanks to all of you who have been participating in this event. Tomorrow, Sunday, big applause to all you guys. Sunday, we have one more live stream that we're doing for the Lightbox event, and that's coming on. We're doing a question and answer, so bring your questions. If you have anything that you want to talk about with the challenge, with Lightbox, with the industry in general, with some of the panelists that we've had this whole week, bring that. We're going to come and talk about it, and Wahab will be there behind the scenes, and then Chad, our other community mentor, will be there as well as you guys. So come on and join us for that.
Yeah,
anything else you want to mention?
big shout out to Chad too. He's been super helpful and just going over critiquing the Animatic challenge as well. That guy is everywhere. There's like 5 Chads.
Yeah, exactly.
There's 10 Chads.
How does he do it? He was on our
I
chat.
swear to God, I'll if I ever have a question or need something, I will text him first before I even text you because he's there. He's the man.
Yeah, and Chad was on our earlier live stream. You can see that replay on YouTube and Facebook and Twitch. And he's also part of the mentorship, one of the mentors there, and one of the managers, moderators on that as well. So Chad's the man.
He's everywhere.
Sure. All right.
He's got
cool.
it covered.
Thanks, guys. Well, that'll do it for us. We're going to go out on the mentorship trailer, and then Wahab, stick around. We'll talk after this. But yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow, Sunday, 3 p.m. Okay, take it easy. Bye-bye.
The mentorship experience has been the best learning experience that I've ever had about story.
It was a game changer.
It sort of felt like it's been an extension of my schooling experience. I think the consistency of work, the challenge of the assignments.
This entire system that you have going, it is so perfect for the time we're in. Right evolution of the formula of online schooling.